Hello everyone and welcome back to the tutorial 4 in our Word Office add-in series. In this tutorial, we are going to look at the deployment of Office add-ins. So first and foremost, welcome to Power Platform and AI User Group, ppug.org. We are a place where you can learn, share, and grow as a community. So please feel free to join us at ppug.org. A few ways of deployment. One of the way that you might want to deploy is sideloading. Now, when I say you want to deploy using sideloading, you'll say, Clavin, what are you talking about? Sideloading is important because what we are doing during debugging is sideloading. So sideloading is very important from the debugging perspective. Next would be a centralized deployment. You can install or you can host this particular add-in in a IIS website and then use it. One of the most easiest option would be to deploy it to a centralized location, maybe an app service, and then deploy the add-in to your entire application. And if you remember, we used the SSO template. So we are going to look at the SSO based deployment. Next, you can deploy it to AppSource and you can earn some income. If you have a good idea, you can also productize it. And then you can manually install it. For example, pass the manifest file to everyone over the file share and they can go ahead and use it. But however, we will look at the SSO bit. So if you see, when it comes to SSO, the first thing is that the user activates the task pane. Once the user activates the task pane, the first request goes to an Azure AD application, which you have seen. It will request a token and then it will return the token to the Office add-in. The Office add-in will send the token then to the add-in itself. So Office client will send it to the Office add-in. Now understand it. There's a difference between a client and an add-in. If you remember, the client is your Office application and the add-in is actually the website or the iframe. So it sends a request to the Office add-in. Then it will again, the Office add-in will request a token back. Okay, the iframe or the website will request a token back from Azure AD. It will return the token. It will request the user data, include the access token, use the graph, and then the requested data will be rendered in your Office add-in. So firstly, a user request will be sent to the Office client. Office client will send a request to none other than the Azure AD application. The Azure AD application will return the ID or the token to the Office application. Then it will send the ID or the token to the add-in, which is your website or your iframe. And that will again request the access token to the Azure AD. Azure AD will provide the access token. It will then request the user data through graph, and then the user data would be returned to the Office add-in and it will display it or it will add it to your Word application. I hope that this is informative enough. This is how the flow is going to work out. So in the previous demo, we wrote some code. So here, my friends, I have the same application, but I have added some more code to it. So let's quickly go to the SRC, let's go to the task pane, and let's go to the taskpane.js. So if you're directly coming to this particular session and have skipped everything behind and just looking at deployment, let me quickly walk you through. So we have the manifest file. It is the metadata of the application. Then the SRC folder is the most important folder. This is where we write our HTML code. I have written some HTML code for look and feel of the application. If you see, I have added buttons out here. In fact, I have 1, 2, and 3 buttons. The first button will insert an header. The second button will insert some text, and the third button will insert a seal. Now that we have inserted buttons that will be available, we need to go ahead and set up the logic. But before we set up the logic, we need to set up the look and feel. To set up the look and feel, I have added some CSS out here. CSS will be used to make your application or the word add-in look pretty. If you see, I have added comments as in saying what is added to the existing add-in. It's very simple. I have added a button container. I have added PPUG button classes, and I have added a message area, and I have added a success message area so that you know that the message has been added successfully. Okay, I'm flying through this code because I'm sure you can generate all of the CSS and the HTML using none other than our friend Copilot or Claude or OpenAI ChatGPT. Finally, we need to wire up some logic, right? So to wire up the logic, I have added 3 methods. The 3 methods are on your screen. First, it inserts a header. Simple enough method. It goes ahead and adds a header. In fact, you see that the image gets converted to base64. I am picking up the images from the assets folder. The assets folder is where I have added my images. I have added my community logo. I have said that insert a paragraph in the header body section, so it will be added in the header. I have told what the image size should be, a width and a height, and then I have said add some spacing. Finally, I'm using async await so that it happens asynchronously. I have also decorated it with a try and a catch block. So if there's an error, it shows you an error. Similarly, I have added some text to my Word application out here. Again, decorated it in a try catch block and async await method. And finally, you will see that if there's an error, I will show an error message, and finally I will set the button to be disabled false. Again, another one, I'm adding a seal. The logic is pretty simple. I'm getting the file, I'm getting the image, and this image I will convert it into base64. This is the method that I'm using to convert it to base64. It's just above because I want to convert a raw PNG into base64 and then insert it. So let's go back to the method. I know that I'm going a bit quick because you are interested in the deployment. Perhaps let's do the deployment in the next tutorial. I think that would be helpful because we have understood the concept on how it works in this particular tutorial. So this is how it works. Let's see it in action. So I will say npm start. It should start my middle tier server. Perfect. So my tool has loaded and it will help with productivity. Let's say that I want to author a document for PPUG. I can directly add a header, right? An image. Next, what I want to do is maybe I want to insert some text about PPUG. Perfect. In fact, I should take care of the formatting a little, but when it comes to formatting, sky's the limit. You can do that. Next, what I want to do is I want to add a seal. So if you see, within a few seconds, I have got all the assets for my company and just added it as a task pane. So how easy it is to generate a document right now. I hope that this quick tutorial is informative. We understood the concept of deployment. In next tutorial, we will actually deploy our application to Azure web app and configure SSO in our environment. Thank you. Have a great day and bye-bye.